Hey everyone, it's Jessica from Stitchhouse. I'm trying something new. I hope you like these videos. I'm not sure where they're going yet, but the whole point is to have fun and talk to cool people, and that's what I plan on doing. So if you like this video or you find something really interesting in it that you think you could share with somebody else, I hope you do, and look forward to creating more things in the future. Thanks for watching. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you.
I know. I feel like
You,
I keep up with you
I know,
on
I
social
know,
media, but we
right?
haven't spoken in person since 2021,
It's
maybe.
it's been a while.
Well, I am Anna Claire Merck, but most people know me as Anna Claire Embroidery.
Yes,
It's
that's who
funny.
you are.
When I moved from Dallas to Alabama. I'm from Alabama, but I moved back home about 3 years ago, right when the pandemic hit. Um, but when I moved back and started to, try to get my name out there with my business, it was just Anna Claire Embroidery. So now everyone always says, "Are you the embroidery girl?"
You are. You're
Or
that
they think
girl.
not really, but they joke. They're like, "Your last name's just Embroidery." So, um,
Yeah, forget that husband. What is he?
I know.
Okay,
What's his last name?
you know what's so funny though? I was telling someone the other day, I remember you sent me a picture of him like picking out stabilizer when you first started with tweezers. He's a very supportive husband.
He is. He is. And now, whenever I'm in a big rush, my mom will come over, and she absolutely hates sewing, embroidery. Like, that's just not her thing at all. But she will come over here and help me do the nitty gritty things. She won't
So,
actually do the embroidery, but I really would love to hire her as an assistant, but she won't do it.
yeah,
Um,
she's
but
just a
yes,
very supportive mom too.
she's
I
a
have one of
very
those.
supportive mom when needed.
So tell me, okay, this is interesting. When you walked into the store to buy an embroidery machine, what was going through your head? Like, what made you, because you weren't like a sewer or anything before,
No,
right? Okay, so
no.
tell me, like, what was happening there? I remember you said commercial flooring, but start from the beginning.
Yes. So I was in commercial flooring. I sold flooring to hospitals and schools, and I really loved that job. I just needed a creative outlet, and I'm trying to remember how exactly. I think one of my friends in Dallas, she just did it for fun on the side,
Okay.
and I just loved what she was doing. It looked like it was fun. She also had a regular 9 to 5 job. And so every time we would get together, we would just talk about embroidery. And at this point in time, I didn't have a machine. I was like, this just is just something that I would be interested in. And so she kind of pushed me to get a very small single needle machine. And so that's what I got for Christmas one year. And it was right before the pandemic started. So it really was just for fun on the side because I was working full time. Um, so I guess when I came into your store, I didn't know anything about it. That's why, and I don't know how I met you. I guess I Googled sewing store Dallas,
Hmm.
maybe. And I walked in and you were just so helpful. And you also looked like me, which was kind of cool because I was thinking it would be like the total opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. And you
But
came in and I think you were telling me that you wanted to do like cocktail napkins and things like that. And so what's really funny, Anna Claire, is that before you, a lot of people would come in wanting to do this embroidery business and they would be people that like were like home drop off. And I think we discussed that pretty early on that that was not like what your game plan was with your business, right? And so I think I was talking to people about this the other day. This is like a new thing. Like before, everybody that had an at-home embroidery business was like, drop off your Patagonia vest and we'll put the monogram on the side. And from the beginning, you were like, no, I have a very clear vision about what it is I want to do and who I am. And I think I got like really excited about that when you were telling me that. So like, can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I will say everything you do is so Anna Claire that I can't handle even your
I know
dog
probably I'm
bowls.
not wearing blue right
I
now.
can't handle it. Like when you sent me a picture the other day and your dog bowls were in the background, I'm like, well, that's on brand. So tell me like what your thought process was because you had a very unconventional um, idea behind doing an at-home embroidery business that I think a lot of people are now trying to kind of replicate and copy, but I want to say that you did it first.
Oh,
Tell me what you were thinking.
well, I mean, I didn't have kids. I was 26 years old, I believe. So I don't know. I'm very traditional. So I love home linens. I liked like a nice monogram. I personally did not wear monograms. And I think that's what you and I were talking about when I came in the store. My vision for my business, or I should say hobby at that time, was really just to make pretty items for my home that I would buy in a store. And I didn't want to have like this huge monogram that I would like wear on my hat or like my jacket or anything like that. I just wanted it to be more sophisticated. And also, when I first started my business, like I said, I didn't have any kids. I still don't have kids right now. Um, so I didn't want to go down that route. I kind of wanted to make embroidery cool in a sense.
Totally. Yes.
Like you
Yeah.
didn't have to be a 50, 60-year-old woman or, someone with kids who's buying embroidery. Like you could be a young 20 something year old and like have cool cocktail napkins and stand out when you're hosting a party.
Totally.
So
I
that's
think
kind of
you
what I
really
wanted
went with
to
that.
do at the beginning.
Yeah. You had like the Dolly Parton cocktail napkins and like the ones with the lips on them, and they were really fun and kind of like almost like playful, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Um, and I know you've gotten a little bit into kids' clothing too, because you've
Mhm.
been doing like bibs, because it's like inevitable, right? Like,
Oh, yeah, and I love doing it. I mean, my business model right now, if you say, would be home linens, and like newborn items. But I think that's just, you kind of grow, and so all my friends are having kids, and it's also just really fun to make.
yeah.
But I feel like I'm selective even with that and what I do. Um, I don't know, try to make it my own as much as I can.
Tell me about like, okay, so when you had your single needle machine and then you went to your 10 needle, and Mike probably thought we were all crazy.
I actually still think I'm crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how did I make this huge leap? Because obviously, those machines it's like a car pretty much,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know? But I just loved my single needle machine so much. Like, I would come home from work and sit in my little corner because I didn't have an office. I literally
Uh-huh.
worked in a hallway, which
Hmm.
is kind of cute. Um,
Yeah.
and I mean, it was just so much fun, but it took a lot of time, changing out the needles and all the designs that I was doing. It called for multiple thread changes. And I started posting pictures of what I was doing on my personal Instagram.
Hmm.
And I think people just saw it and liked it, and friends started ordering, and then friends would share it with people. And so I actually started to take orders. It really just kind of happened. Like I wasn't
Totally.
trying to take orders, but people would say like, "I want to buy that from you." So I had to figure out really quickly, like, okay, how much does this cost, and what am I going to do, and where am I going to buy it from? So once that started happening organically, I realized I'm going to have to get a bigger machine, you know. But this is what I think is crazy is I just kind of like dove into it.
Totally. I think I
And
kind of a little pushed you there too.
you probably did. I didn't feel you push me. I just felt like, oh, this is like happening. I don't know. But it seemed like overnight, my grandfather, he's passed away now, but was an accountant. And so he helped me set up my business license and do all of that. And I mean, it was just like the next day I was buying things wholesale account and I
How did
don't know,
you
just started business.
how far into like having your single needle to getting your 10 needle did you decide to quit your full-time job, like the one that you knew income was coming in at?
Yeah. Well, so first off, I bought my machine, my single needle in December, and 3 months later I turned it in for a tin needle.
Yeah,
That's what's
that's true.
crazy about this. I was like, I'm gonna make this happen, you know.
You did.
Um, but I still worked for a year,
Okay.
I guess. Yeah, until I quit my full time job and was doing this full time. But COVID had a lot to do with that
Totally.
because I mean, I still had my job, thank goodness. That's why I say I loved that job. I just needed a creative outlet.
You're
Um,
very creative. I can't imagine you even selling commercial flooring because everything you do is like so you have a vision. And so like for you to be in commercial flooring, I'm like, how was she doing that before?
we paid the bills.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But we couldn't go into hospitals at the time to actually like sell. So I just had extra hours throughout the day. And once I reached a certain point in my embroidery business, my husband and I just kind of looked at it and, you know, which it just kind of, I
It
guess it grew to
happens.
the point where I could quit. So,
And something about you is that you're not scared to try things. Like I've seen you evolve over like the past few years, even with your Instagram account, and you're always trying new things. Like the sasheries, love them. And those were really successful for you, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah. And so you're
I
always like
even
looking
started
for
making them
trends.
my own.
Did you really?
Yes,
You're sewing?
I bought a very cheap little
Yeah.
sewing machine. I'm not
Straight
an
stitch.
expert, but I can sew a straight line. So
I am so proud of you. I was wondering because someone asked me, they're like, does she buy those? I'm like, I think she buys them, but you could probably make them for like way less than you were buying them
well,
for, right?
yeah. So I was buying them at first, and they were just really hard to get, and it took
Hmm.
forever. And I was selling out. I mean, it was I'd post it, and they'd be gone, and then it would take forever to get them in. So I started to make them myself.
I love that. So okay, so how have things changed since I've talked to you last? Like you have two machines, your website is beautiful, your Instagram's beautiful. Like what do you see happening next? Like what's going on in your world that is like something you want to do or you're not doing yet? Where's that?
If I'm going to answer this question
I
honestly,
want you to. Yeah, I'm curious.
I have a lot of things going on in my personal life. It's good things, but
Hmm.
it's taking a lot of my time
Yeah.
and energy.
Yeah.
So I have decided to just sit in this season of where I am because my
Yep.
business is good. My husband always says she has too many orders than she has time to do. So I'm trying to just kind of sit where I am and enjoy the process. And I mean, I definitely am very busy. Um, so yeah, it's really difficult because I want to do more and I just want to like keep going. I think,
Can I tell you a thought I have on that?
yeah,
So, I went through a lot of stuff last year with like my breakup and everything. And as like a business owner, it's really hard to be comfortable without like trying all these new things. Like I know you're a lot like me and you have so many ideas in your head. It's like if I do this, I could grow here, and if I do this, I can grow there. And sometimes like life wants us to be a little still,
yeah,
and for someone that's always kind of pushing the envelope like you or like me and always trying to like do more, that's a really uncomfortable place for us to be sometimes.
it is because I don't
And
want to fall behind.
you think that like if I'm not doing this, someone else is going to. And I think I spent a whole year last year sitting still.
Mhm.
And I would always say like my only goal this year is to keep things like status quo. Like I've got a good business. I've done what I've got it to a place where luckily like it can sustain and I can do all these cool things and everything's working. But maybe I'm not, putting out all these new products, or I'm not like, trying these new events or whatever. I'm just doing what I know how to do and I'm doing that well.
Yeah,
And I did that for a whole year, Anna Claire, and guess what? It was fine.
yeah, it will
and
work.
it allowed a lot of personal growth for me that year too.
Yeah,
And I know a little bit about what you're going through, and so I think that sometimes life just asks us to pause a little bit, right?
well,
Even
and
when you don't want to.
I don't consider myself honestly to have like a huge platform. I have a very
You do
small,
though.
well,
No,
I feel
lies.
like I have like a small platform, but for what that is, I feel like my voice has been like I would have never thought. So I'm obviously super open about it. We're
Yeah.
going through IVF, so we're trying to have a baby. Um, and I have shared my process on my embroidery Instagram, and I was really nervous to do that because let's just face it, most of the people that follow me like have babies. So they have a family, and I was like, they're not going to want to hear about this. But I was shocked to, get the feedback of, I'm so proud of you for sharing because I've gone through this. And, you know, there's still lots of girls like me who follow these embroidery
Totally.
pages and they're going through life struggles. And so I guess it made it more real, possibly.
And
Um,
and like that vulnerability is like it's hard to do online, right? And you really just kind of put yourself out there, whether the outcome was good or bad, right? And
yeah.
I have a lot of girlfriends going through it privately right now, and it's hard. And I think that I think that almost connected your audience even more to you, because you have so many people that are moms or like wanting to be moms or new moms, and a lot of people have gone through that even if
Mhm.
they have kids.
Yeah.
So that's it's a I think what you do is so cool because I just think everything you do is so authentic to you, even sharing your journey, and I just love that. I love
Well,
it so
thank
much.
you. Well, I guess so. Business wise, I think, like I said, I'm kind of in this season. I'm gonna try and just keep it where it is. I'm happy. I'm busy, but other things along with my business, I guess that I'm trying to build would be more of the lifestyle aspect of it, of just
Uh-huh.
letting my customers get to know who I am and like my style. My little
Totally.
Bud Light dog bowls that I bought for like $2 at a
I
little.
love them.
I got them at a five and dime store at the beach.
No. You saw them and okay, is your husband just like is everything going to be blue and white or are you going to throw a color in here every once in a while?
Trying to incorporate some green right now.
You're like, yeah,
Um,
Hermes orange.
like
It goes
he,
well.
he knows it's like Mike has good style too. So
Mike's cool. He's super cool.
yeah,
He's along for whatever you want to do.
yeah.
Okay, so all right, so tell me, I have a question. When you say like in the season that I'm in, are there embroidery seasons?
What do you mean?
So like, all right, you got through the Christmas season, right?
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay, now what's the next season? Is it Valentine's Day?
So really, it would be Easter.
Easter is even bigger than Valentine's Day, huh?
Valentine's. I think every season for kids is big.
Hmm.
I mean, you people just want a little shirt. They're so
Everything.
cute. But for my big seasons, it would be Easter and Christmas.
Really. What
Yeah.
about summertime? Like, what do you do in the middle there that kind of like sustains?
Well, another thing that was really popular for me this past year, I guess I debuted my wreath sashes with
Uh-huh.
this. It was game day wreath
Oh,
sashes.
yes. Loved those.
They were really popular. And I'm trying to figure out like how to do my seasons still
Yeah.
because Christmas is such a it just takes up all your time.
Especially when you're trying to do your own thing at Christmas time, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
you're a one woman show.
Which
So,
I've taken some advice from other embroiderers.
okay.
Um, they take off December.
I've heard.
So you work like crazy from September to November and then you're closed on December because really shipping is still a problem for a lot of people.
Yep.
I ship UPS and I even pay some of the UPS bills or charges because it's just so expensive. But it
Yeah.
guarantees I've lost one or UPS has lost one package this entire year.
That's not bad.
That's huge. But anyways, most people they start working on their Christmas like in September.
And then they'll say, "Hey, you have to have your order in by this date or whatever." And then if not, like, "Sorry, this is my cutoff time." And then they
Yeah.
take off the time. Who have you found? Like, how did you find other people doing what you do? And are they like willing to share their information? Like they're friendly, or like what's the deal with that?
No.
That's what I was wondering. I'm like,
It's
wow, they're
so
telling you these things.
unfortunate, but I will say I have met. Um, well, her name is Allie. I always mess up her business name. I think it's uh, Southern Sorrel. We talk
Okay.
about this on the phone all the time. She's like, no one knows how to say it. It means sisters. And she is
Okay.
so sweet. But she's out of Corpus Christi,
Okay.
Texas. But she is so nice. We talk on the phone, not all the time, but when we do, like it'll be a 2 hour conversation.
Uh-huh.
Um, and obviously, there's things that she and I both keep to ourselves,
Of
but
course.
we're very willing to help each other out and, discuss like what works for us and what doesn't work for us. And she's been a great advocate. And then there's been some other girls that have been nice, but I think it's just like a touchy thing. People don't want
Totally.
to share, and I get it. I don't really want to share all my things too. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lay out.
Yeah, I feel the same way in business. Like people ask all the time because there's dealers around me, and you go to other stores and they do the same thing I do, and people are like, "Oh, why don't you, meet with so and so?" Well, first of all, in my head, and I was telling someone this the other day, it's like I don't love knowing what my competition's doing because like I don't do things based on what other people are doing. I
Yeah,
do things because I like them,
yeah,
and I think you do the same thing. It's like you're not like chasing what your competition's doing. You're just trying to do what you like and what feels authentic to you.
yeah.
And then like the other thing is like it's like these are my secrets.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
These
but
are
I
my
think
things.
with embroidery, you do get a lot of people who are like, "Where did you get this?" or "Where did you
Oh
get
yeah.
that?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I spent hours trying to find it." You
Like
know?
Google it.
Yeah. That makes me cringe. I just don't know
It
how to
does.
respond. But
I have a girlfriend that she has like a lifestyle page, and she doesn't post like links to anything, and she hates when people ask her for links to things. She's like, "What? Just image search it." Like, what are you talking about?
I
There's a
I love the search. Honestly, it kills me when I can't find something. Like I will spend
right.
days trying to find like a particular font, and when I do, it's the most satisfying feeling.
Okay,
But
wait a second. I love your new font.
I know I was about to like segue into
Tell
that.
me, tell me, okay, tell me how you got that thought and how you like what were you doing when you were like, I have an idea? Because it's so cool.
Well, I just wanted to do something that was different to make me stand out. Because
Yep.
I mean, I feel like everyone being other embroiderers, they all have their own thing, like
Uh-huh.
what they specialize in, or like maybe you know them for something. Um, but a lot of the designs and the fonts can be very similar, which is fine. It's great. But I just wanted to have something that stood out and was different, and that my customers could only get from me. And so I was on Instagram and I found this artist, and she does beautiful stationery, and I guess she's a watercolorist.
Uh-huh.
That's what she specializes in. And I reached out to her. She's made a few things for me, like my Christmas card, just like things here and there.
Uh-huh.
And I asked her because she had this beautiful font, and I haven't shared that one yet with people, but I also own that one now.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
um, but I was like, could I buy a font from you and like turn it into an embroidery design?
Almost like you commissioned her to do the
Yes.
art. Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So I bought one that she had previously made, and then I commissioned her to make me, or Anna Claire Embroidery, a custom font, which I just think is beautiful.
It's
She
beautiful.
did
It's so
a job.
you too.
And her name is Made by Kate G. She's
Uh-huh.
out of Dallas.
Ah,
But she's on Instagram.
I think when I saw that, I thought, And I loved how you did the video with her like actually like doing the
Oh
watercolor and
gosh,
like
she's so
how
talented.
cool. How
And
cool.
I was kind of nervous. I was like, I hope this, I knew it would be beautiful, but to get the effect of the watercolor and
Hmm.
embroidery, because
That's
obviously
hard.
it's, yeah, it's very difficult. So it took me forever. I felt so bad because I would tell Kate, like, oh, I'll have it ready, this day. And then I wouldn't have it ready. And I'm like, I just can't get the colors right yet. So it took forever, but I finally got it. And I'm really proud of that.
There's an art to what you do too, because one of the things that you've learned a lot along the way, which is like things that you can only learn by like experience, is like how to stabilize things correctly so they look good, like how to do colors, what to look for when you know if something's digitized well or not well, like what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept. And I think you've gotten really, really, you've refined that totally, because I look at your stuff and I'm like, ah, it's beautiful. And there's
I
nothing
still
wrong with
make
any of it.
myself nervous taking a few items, but
You
whenever
did a
I
golf
finish
bag
them,
the other day,
I did a
right?
golf bag, and that was really nerve wracking.
Yeah. I was like,
I
okay,
probably
she's
won't do
ambitious.
another one. Maybe I will. I don't know, but it's
You
scary.
you learn how to like you'll like say the next time you do it, you're like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. $300. I'm like, okay. And you're like, no.
I know, I know, but they're more fun. It's a satisfying feeling when you finish those projects, and it's exactly what the customer wants.
I'm so proud of you. Like I want to kind of like wrap it up. I want to ask you one more question, but I just want to say I'm so proud of you because I know that it's not easy doing your own thing. It's very terrifying because you only have yourself to rely on. Obviously your husband and your family too, but a lot of it comes back. It all comes back as a reflection on you, right? And a lot of people are really uncomfortable with that because it's not guaranteed and it's not for sure, and you're just trying things that you think are going to work. And I think you do that really, really well. And not everybody has that in them, and even if they do, they may be scared to go for it. I think you just go for it. And that's what I love about you. You're super authentic. I think you're so cool.
You're so
And
sweet.
I'm serious. I just want to encourage you to like keep doing it, because there's not enough like, we need like more women supporting each other. That's why I asked you about like how are the other women in the industry that you're in? Like, do they give you tips and tricks? And I know it's unfortunate because a lot of people don't, but I just think there's like more women needing to support women, and I think that that's like the whole point of this. I just wanted to catch up with you, see how you're doing, and encourage. I know you're going through a lot personally, and I hope that
Oh
like you
my
just keep going because you're so cool.
God,
I want to
thank
be
you.
you.
I
No, you don't. We can trade places.
want to be you.
So can you like give me one piece of advice for anybody man or woman, but just like specifically, I want to focus on like female-owned businesses. Like one piece of advice for someone that's like maybe even if it's not embroidery, they're looking to start something for their own. What's your biggest takeaway? What's your biggest like you must do this thing?
I think honestly, it would just be, you know, stick stick to what you want to do
Hmm.
and don't try to copy people. Um, that seems kind of obvious, but it is difficult. I mean, even I sometimes see things and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do that so badly. But, you know, that's like not what I need to do. And I feel like my business started to grow when I started to do my own things,
Yeah.
um, instead of trying to, copy what other people are doing. Even though it
Yeah.
might be cute, it's in the long run, your business is going to grow because people like what you're doing. So I would say just to stick to who you are and believe in yourself. Yeah,
Totally. That's the hardest part, right?
it's very difficult, but I mean, it will work out. Like if you're going to be committed and, wake up every day and do it, it's going to grow.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing is just be authentic to who you are, because you do a really good job at that. And like you said, a lot of times we're always trying to like chase what other people are doing, and that's a very exhausting game.
It
you
is.
know. It's
It
better to
is.
be authentic.
And
Oh
I
my
want
gosh.
to say,
Yeah.
y'all, like Stitchhouse, You are so great at answering the phone. Um, whenever
Sometimes I like forget to text
whenever I
back.
have questions, I mean, let's not forget, I live in Huntsville, Alabama. Like, I'm not in Texas anymore. And there's plenty of stores in Huntsville that I could go to for advice. And they just don't give me great. I haven't gotten any advice. Like, whenever I call you guys, like, you take the time, you help
Oh,
me. And
thank
I
you.
mean, I still have questions all the time. So, and you know, you helped me that one day.
I try. I
We
try to
had to
help. If you
stabilize
have,
your question,
oh
but
my
I
gosh,
do appreciate you so much because you really helped me get off of the ground.
I love
And
it. Can you tell people really quick how they can find you if they want to purchase any of your stuff and then like we'll
yes. Okay, so if you would like to purchase anything from Anna Claire Embroidery, you can find me on social media, primarily Instagram. My username is Anna Claire Embroidery. And if you'd like to shop, my website is annaclaireembroidery.com.
perfect. I love it. Okay. I'll text you. We'll follow up.
Okay.
You're the best. Thanks, Anna Claire. Bye.
Thank you.